Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for tuning in for a buyback rummage today. Had a few minutes free and thought we would hit the recently created Morgan Brothers Creameries box here that contains nothing but significant or cool buyback cards. A real passion of mine in the hobby. It's been pretty crazy here the past few weeks. I've had very little time for YouTube, so if I'm behind on watching your content, and I'm not putting out as much of my own. It's not that I'm not enjoying the hobby. It just tends to be a very busy time of the year. But figured we'd get to it today and at least check out some of these sweet buybacks that are hiding in this cheese box. And we're going to start with a Red Sox team card from 1974 Topps. Love that. Some great players would be depicted in here, including Yaz and others. But big fan of the team card. Something that I miss in the modern flagship sets, and that is a Topps original buyback from the 2015 buyback program. And we're going to stick with the Red Sox theme here for two cards in a row. How about a 1988 Topps Wade Boggs? This is from the Rediscover Topps program that came out in 2017, and it's also one of my favorite 1988 Topps cards. I love the look of this one with Boggs, his helmet overlapping the team name, but then the bat kind of going in behind it. It really gives it like a 3D effect. And this is a card that I have come to appreciate more over the years. Growing up, I was kind of bored by 1988 Topps, if I'm being honest. But now in my later collecting years, I've realized there are definitely some gems on that checklist. And Wade Boggs is certainly one of them. So that's pretty cool. We're going to hop over just quickly here for at least one card anyway to the hockey side of the house. And this is a Pro Set buyback. So in 2020, Leaf, who now owns the Pro Set brand, they did buybacks of the 3 original Pro Set hockey releases, numbered to just 5. And I have here from the first release in 1990, the inaugural set, Bryan Trottier, Hall of Famer who is better known for his time with the New York Islanders, was a member of their dynasty in the 80s, but then later joined those powerhouse Pittsburgh Penguins teams. Love this set. I love the team color match of the design, and the opportunity to get these as buybacks, serial numbered to just 5, is like really, really tempting to me. I'm trying to collect as many of these as I can. And in fact, in the background here, one of the things I've been working at when I've been kind of away from YouTube a little bit more is selling a good portion of my hockey buybacks. I have found a collector who loves these and values them even more than I do, and we've worked out quite a few deals. But I am keeping all of my Pro Set buybacks because I'm really just a big fan of these. I think they are sneaky cool cards, and they're a fun way for me to recollect, especially this inaugural Pro Set release, but with an element of challenge or scarcity behind it. I know it's artificial scarcity. I know buybacks aren't for everybody, but I love these, and I'm really happy to see another Hall of Famer spill out of the box today. I have a few buddies in the hobby who are Pittsburgh fans and Penguins fans specifically, so hopefully a couple of them will catch this and enjoy that. Trottier. Next up, we've got a Seattle Pilots buyback, and that is the only reason I picked this one up. I love the teams of yesteryear, or teams that are no longer those franchises or have moved on, and as such, I've been collecting the 1969 and 1970 Seattle Pilots cards in buyback format. And here we have Mike Hegan from the 2017 Rediscover program on the 1970 release. So if this doesn't make the buyback Frankenset binder in spot number 111, I have another place designated where I'm storing these Pilots buybacks. So I'm happy to see this one come out of the box, regardless of where it ends up or what its fate ends up being. Let's do another penny sleeved card here. And we've got a fun one, definite Red Sox theme today to the rummage. Here's a 79 George Scott. He's got those sideburns that are really a beard, but he's missing the goatee area, just wild facial hair. Love this one with a bright red batting helmet. And of course, this is another Topps original from 2015, as you can plainly see, and perfect location for the buyback stamp here. So nice George Scott. He had a bunch of really cool cards over the years, and I think I've got the majority of them now in buyback format. And next up, we have our second 1970 Topps card of the rummage. How about Mickey Lolich for the Detroit Tigers? Arms raised above his head there. Of course, a really successful pitcher for the team. who had a lot of success in Major League Baseball throughout the 60s and into the early 70s. 1970 Topps, not my favorite release at all, but this one does have a shot at making the Franken-set just because it's a really high number at number 715. So pretty cool there. Getting quite a few Topps original buybacks in the rummage today. Next up, we're going to do a top-loaded card here. And this is one from one of the more recent buyback promotions, the Advent Calendar that came out in 2025. And this also fits a theme that I love of first and last cards. So this is the Ozzie Smith, and I'm going to take it out of its case here, from 1996 Topps Baseball. And it's important because it is the final Topps flagship card of the Wizard, Ozzie. Now, I can't stand this design. Really detest 96 Topps and this weird kind of inlaid photo that they did there, but made an exception for this buyback just because I really loved Ozzie Smith growing up. Still enjoy collecting him, and I think finding a player's final card in buyback format is kind of a fun challenge that I have embraced. So Ozzie Smith is the latest player on that front with his 96, and that was a cheap card, like maybe $5 or something like that. Here's one that I've actually shown before. This is a duplicate, but I will definitely find a home for this in my Negro Leagues Z Folio album that I'm building. It is Charlie Dees of the Angels, who had a brief cup of coffee with a Negro Leagues franchise, kind of after they had largely disbanded as formal leagues and were more into the barnstorming phase. And then he did briefly play with the Angels as well. So this is a card that I really enjoy, so much so that I picked up the autographed version of this from Topps Heritage as well as the box topper buyback. So Charlie Dees making the channel again today. And safe to say this is probably the only video that you're going to encounter a Charlie Dees card in your time here on YouTube today. So pretty neat. Love to see that one come out. I am not above collecting doubles or even triples of some of these cards. And speaking of which, that is a great segue to this one. Maybe considered my all-time favorite baseball card, 1990 Topps #1, Lynn Nolan Ryan. The card that for me as a grubby little, 8-year-old or 7-year-old at the time collector in the spring of 1990, this was my first foray into baseball cards, 1990 Topps. And I knew that with a photo like this and the first 5 cards on the checklist that Nolan Ryan had to be a big deal. And so even though I had never seen him pitch even an inning at that point in my life, I became a fan and I still collect him to this day. And I am honored to add another buyback version of this epic card. This is the gold foil Rediscover Topps. And as I've said many times, maybe the single most important card in the hobby to me is 1990 Topps #1, because if it wasn't for that card, I don't know that I would be in the hobby or be collecting today. So pumped to see that Nolan Ryan come out of the box. There's probably no more rewarding buyback that I could possibly pick up. Then we have another one here that is chock full of Hall of Famers. I know a lot of folks enjoy these leaders cards that have multiple Hall of Famers on them. And this one here is from the 67 Topps release, and it shows your American League batting leaders for the season prior, featuring 3 Hall of Famers, Frank Robinson, Tony Oliva, and Al Kaline. And what's cool about this one, 1966 was actually the Triple Crown year for Frank Robinson with the O's. So he not only led the league in batting, as we see here, but also in home runs and RBI. So this is a really significant leaders card for numerous reasons, not just the fact that it features a trio of guys who are enshrined in Cooperstown. Just a killer buyback there. And I would imagine this one is going to put up quite a fight for card number 239 in the buyback Franken set. I am overdue for an update on the overall Franken set. I've made a lot of progress on that in recent months, so I will try to shoot a video coming up here where we look over the state of the binder. We're going to the mid-80s next with an 86 Raleigh Fingers, also from the Rediscover program, and also the gold foil, which looks really nice here with the Brewers colors. Just a gorgeous card. I love the photograph. Of course, you don't get a great look at the mustache here, being this zoomed out, but a nice action shot there. Hall of Famer, of course. And here's a look at the back, card number 185, and you can tell Raleigh had already been around for about 20 years when this card came out, which is amazing, or close to it anyway. Just a great Fingers card there, and one that I hope will make the Franken set as well. I'm really excited when today's video ends to crack out the binder and start sorting these away and see how these new contestants do. And we've got another top-loaded card here, and it's from the 90 Topps release, our second 90 Topps Hall of Famer. In today's rummage, Edgar Martinez, who of course was one of the first DHs to be admitted to the Hall of Fame. And this is one that I know I need in my 1990 Topps Buyback Complete Set binder. Just an insane project that I've been at for probably 8 or 9 years now. And I'm getting closer and closer. This will be card number 148 in that binder. And I am well over 700 cards out of the 792 in the 90 Topps release in buyback format now. So closing in, although it's deceptive, of the ones that remain, many of them may not even exist as buybacks. I don't know if it's a project I'll ever be able to complete, but that just makes it all the more satisfying when I can add a big name like Edgar Martinez to that binder. So love to see that. And then we're going to close out here today. This will be the final card, and it's another 1990 Topps card. It's like a 90 Topps Spectacular today. Player who is not enshrined, but who I loved growing up, and I'm very happy to see represented in this collection, Mark McGwire on the 90 Topps release. And this one is from the 2016 65th anniversary, buyback program in blue foil. And I don't think it's going to come across on video, but this is one of those, these come in all different conditions, and I love them in any condition. You can't afford to be picky. This card feels like it's been waterlogged in the past. If you can look here, there's almost a little bend that goes diagonally across the card, and it just feels, the cardboard feels like heavy and like it's endured some liquid damage at some point in its existence. You got a way bunted in corner here on the back. I mean, this thing has taken a beating, but that's what makes these fun. Go out there and try to find another 1990 Mark McGwire buyback, and you may be waiting some time if you ever find one at all. So that's the third card in a trio of 1990 Topps in today's episode, and also the final buyback in today's rummage. I don't want this to go too long, so I'm going to cut it there. If you made it to the end, I appreciate 12 plus minutes of your time. Hope you enjoyed these even half as much as I do. I'll be back soon with some more content, as you know. And until then, enjoy the hobby, everybody. Take care.